line, fair ball, and it's caught on one hop by the Torrente team. That's Jimmy Harrington over at, excuse me, that is Logan Nelson over at first base. Great defensive play there, one away. So in the books, that's going to go down as a 3 unassisted. First pitch is a ball, 1-0. And there's a strike to even it out. 1-1 strike against Easton Santos, the pitcher for the Northern California team. That's going to be Nick Johnson on the mound, number 14. He's got a really fun delivery. He kind of waves both arms up like a bat, and then sort of just slings it sidearm at you. 1-2 strikes now against Easton Santos. Xavier Aguila is on deck. That one skied down the right field line, foul. Logan Nelson giving it a good chase down the line, but just out of reach. I don't even think a perfect 80 speed player would have gotten that one. So the 1-2. Johnson sets and the pitch. Fouled away. Easton Santos staying alive here with one out and nobody on. The 1-2. Another foul ball. A very good battle from Easton Santos. You know, down 1-2, it's not very comfortable as a batsman, but he's able to stay in there, fend off a few pitches, stay alive. He's able to give his team some good looks. That's always crucial. Again, another 1-2 pitch. This one time it's going to be grounded to the second baseman. Over the first, 2 away. That's going to be Reggie Fong over at second. Fantastic play. Nice and textbook. It's going to go down as a 4-3 in the books. Here's Xavier Aguila. Swing and a foul ball. 0-1. And this pitcher, Nick Johnson, he's doing a good job getting ahead early on the batter. There's a called strike 2. Just a beauty right at the knees on the corner of the zone. That's exactly where you want it to be if you're a pitcher. Pinpoint location. And the 0-2. Ooh, that one looked like it just barely missed it. That's why framing is really crucial these days. Had the catcher for the Ube team, it looks like that's Seriosa. Had his glove been on the way up, that may have been called strike 3. Now it's 1-2. That one hops in and out of the glove, so 2-2 for sure. When you're a catcher, you need to present well. You need to present the strike to the home plate umpire so you can clearly see where you caught it. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a line drive down the left field line. Foul. Wow, that was just a couple feet foul, maybe. Hard hit. A line drive rope off of the bat of the third slot hitting Aguila. Aguila is the starting third baseman. He's got a very hefty build. You can tell he's one of their power hitters. And him being at the third base side shows he's got a strong arm as well. Now here he is fighting it off. The 2-2. Swing and a foul ball. It's going to land in front of home plate. Look like it hit his foot first, or perhaps somewhere in the batter's box. The ball has to clear the batter's box to be fair. We're going to do it again. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here it is. Swing, And that one's in the air, the right side of the field. Nelson is chasing it. He's running out of the room, and that's going to be a foul ball. Aguia, just like his teammate Santos, doing a good job seeing a lot of pitches. Very exciting, aggressive approach from this Northern California team. Excuse me, the All States team. Swing and a line drive to right field. That's down for a base hit, but the right fielder's going to throw to first, and they got him. Wow, what a play from the right fielder. It looks like that was Hikali over in right, and that's why you have to put the strongest arm in right field. The score stays 0-0 as we head to the bottom of the first. Good afternoon, and welcome back to the 2025 Filipino World Series, All States versus the Northern California team. Leading things off for the home team, the Team Ube, is number 13, Oliver, the starting center fielder. Chase Oliver is going to take ball one, and we're going to read off the defensive alignment. It's Justin Tan on the mound. His catcher is Aragon. Harrington's at first, Espejo at second, Aguia at third, Santos at short. And the 1-0 pitch is going to be swung on and missed. That's 1 ball, 1 strikes. The outfield from left to right goes Klein, Peterson, and then Aquino. So 0-2, rather, excuse me. Pitch. Swung on, line drive, base hit. Right to the left fielder. That was a very clean hit off of the bat of Chase Oliver.
Amato Rivera Santos gonna step into the box here for NorCal Ube, donning those purple jerseys. Introduction to those, especially with the likes of SoCal ring cover, as that ball is popped up to the third baseman. He camps under it and makes the grab for out number 1.
Yeah, great play from Aguia. So 1 away, it's Bryce Santos who pops up. And that's going to bring to the plate Rumbawa.
Yeah, again, really looking at these jerseys. I've liked the color schemes that we've had this year. We've obviously got some of the 14 under teams on the softball field adjacent to Monarch Field here. We've got Lil Lumpia. They've got brown jerseys. Obviously, Team Ube here. They've got the purple jerseys. All the SoCal teams have a different shade of blue all very fitting, all very organized. I really like it this year.
Yeah, and I really like the way that they lean into the the names. You know, some of the Filipinos don't know how to say ube. They say ube.
Yeah.
Langka. It's not something everyone gets to say too often. The runner goes. Here's the pitch. It's too high. The throw down, too late. So a ball on the pitch, safe on the steal attempt. Into second is Chase Oliver.
Yeah, and especially for us as broadcasters, there are always so many kids out on the field, sometimes from other teams, especially last year. And again, even this year, you've got a couple of SoCal teams, a couple of NorCal teams. It can be hard to kind of tell them apart just because the coaches tend to hang around with the other team since they know the guys well. That ball lifted up in the air, second baseman coming back. It's going to be the center fielder calling it, comes in and makes the grab. Runner's going to stay at second base. There are 2 outs now in the inning. Hitter's going to be number 20, Logan Nelson for NorCal Ube. Nelson competed in the Home Run Derby last night for the second year in a row. Actually made the finals for the second year in a row. Hasn't been able to get that Home Run Derby title just yet as he takes that first pitch for a strike.
Yeah, but you can tell this kid's got a very powerful swing. I mean, when he does connect with one, he was one of the few people that was able to put it on the roof beyond left field.
I mean, yeah, I feel like the big thing for Nelson is he's probably going to be one of the few players on this team actually using a wooden bat in today's games. You can hear it there on that pop fly. Pitchers coming in, looking for it in the sun. Third baseman, they might collide, and the ball drops in between them. Third baseman for Team Allstate's trying to come in and make the grab. Sees his pitcher last second and tries to get out the way. Instead, completely overruns the ball. It drops in between them, and now there are runners on the corner.
Yeah, I'm as tough as that play was. The ball, look at the shadows. That ball went straight up into the sun, but you know the pitcher has to vacate there. The third baseman had a better view on it. I'm gonna have to put that down as knee one. So here's Reggie Fong.
Well, actually, it looks like they're bringing Nelson back.
Oh, well that messes with my scorecard. We'll see what happens here.
Yeah, not entirely sure what the call was for that. As he's going to sky that one down the third base line. Left fielder's on a run for it. He's going to go into foul territory and not be able to make the grab. Bounces right in front of that Ube bullpen. So it'll be a long strike for Nelson and an even longer walk back to home plate. That's now back-to-back pitches where Nelson's had to run down the first base line and has to slowly make his way back. His teammate Fong doing a good job picking up the bat, giving it back to him as he slowly makes his way.
Yeah, they always tell you to walk back, just so that you keep your energies nice and reserved.
I always hated that personally.
Yeah, it's not a good thing for pace of play, but that ball's going to get away from the catcher, Aragon. And on to third is Chase Oliver. So, big hitter in the box, and a runner right on third, 90 feet away from finally getting on the scoreboard for this game. Both teams 0-0 in the bottom of the first.
Yeah, NorCal Ube and their pitcher Johnson doing a really good job in the top half of the first inning, getting 3 up, 3 out. But now Allstate's here. Some faults early, but again, something happening with that high pop fly between the pitcher and third baseman. As that pitch swung on and missed by Nelson, he's not going to make any contact with it. And it'll be the first strikeout of the game for Tan. They go 4 up, 3 down in the bottom half of the first inning. Still a tied ball game at 0 apiece as we go to the second inning.
So a quick first inning, a 1-2-3 inning for all states in the top half, and then only 5 batters deep for the NorCal Ube team. So leading things off for the All Stars is the fourth slot cleanup hitting Ryder Peterson. He's going to be the starting center fielder, facing off against that's Nick Johnson. Still strike one.
I do believe it was only 4 batters in that first inning, though. Again, that foul ball from Nelson. Again, just a weird mishap there. They apparently called it a foul ball, is what we were told here in the booth. Nelson was able to get back in the box, but I think he would have much preferred to take that error on the pitcher than strike out swinging to end the first inning.
Yeah, great catch there. It was so they did pull him back. I guess on that ball, so the pitcher and the third baseman both uh came together and the ball landed between them and it rolled foul. I guess if nobody touched the ball, that would be a foul ball since the ball did enter foul territory before the third base bag. But
I always looked at it as though, if you were making contact with the ball, whether it be dropped or you're colliding into one another and it bounces off a player, whether it's in front of the third base or first base bag, I honestly thought that as long as the play happened in fair territory and say it rolled foul, that it would still be a live ball. But
I guess the umpires are saying that nobody touched it, which is the key part.
I
But
see, but then I would have loved to assume that that ball definitely landed in fair territory. Then I can't really think of it actually going past that line. I can vividly remember the brighter green grass compared to the darker green grass here where the Monarchs
yeah, well,
logo is dispelled out.
what's behind us is behind us. Ryder Peterson leaves home plate behind him. He's going to take his free base. Here's Jimmy Harrington in his first at bat today.
Jimmy Harrington, especially when we're talking about a little bit of that color coordination, he's just going to rope that into right field. Right fielder's going to pump fake the runner, and the throw over to second base is in time. Great play by the right fielder of Team Ube Hikali. He deked the runner at first, made it seem like he was going to catch the ball on a line drive, forcing that runner to freeze up halfway between first and second base, and too little too late for him to try and make it to the second base bag, as it did fall in front of Hikale. Throws that ball over to second base on a frozen rope.
Yeah,
Gets
just
the first out of the inning.
impressive display from Hikali and Wright, just because that's the second put out he's had in 2 innings.
Yeah.
He's been able to throw somebody out. Very impressive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that throw to first base, definitely exceptional. Colley's definitely got an arm out there. A lot of these Filipino players, not necessarily the biggest in the world, but again, they are able to show us that strength each and every year. It always surprises me, always shocks me to see those kinds of things throughout this tournament.
Yeah, that's a rare. I have a 9-3 in the books and now a 9-6.
Wow. Good rap sheet for Hikale in right field. He's definitely going to be pleased with his performance so far. We just need to wait and see if he can liven up that bat a little bit. He can do the full works here for Team Ube. They certainly need it. Trying to get at least a decent playoff spot going into tomorrow. Obviously 1-1 you can see on your screen there.
But Daniel Aquino, the starting right fielder, he's going to try to keep this line moving. 1 on with 1 out. It's still an early ball game. NorCal has good pitching and good defense, so any time you can get somebody on base, it's really a crucial situation to just play small ball and make sure you have productive at bats. No strikeouts, no pop ups, nothing unproductive. The 3-1 swung on, fouled away. It's now a pitcher's full house after Johnson was down 3-1.
Yeah, Nate, you and I were talking about it before the tournament started. Obviously, who our favorites were to win it all, take home the glory this year. And NorCal Ube was one of those teams that kept popping up, especially looking at that NorCal Torrente team from last year and the NorCal Lopez team as well. This NorCal Ube team just kind of seems like a perfect amalgamation of both teams. You've got names like Fong, Laroth, Lockhart, even Johnson and Vray Santos, big names from last year, now all on the same team representing Northern California. I was able to speak to previous head coach Matt Lopez about what the drafting was like this year. They obviously did it much earlier. A lot of kids had to call out, ended up not coming to the tournament actually. But Lopez says that for his Northern California guys, he really wanted to focus on one team to try and bring home the gold for the northern part of this state. Finally, once and for all, after Southern California have done it 2 times in a row, once by Hines the first year of the Filipino World Series, and then last year, obviously, Briscoe, his whole mindset was that the job was never done until he was able to get that last pitch from none other than Gaviola on the bump. Definitely a very controversial game last year, but people have left. People have graduated. As that ball's hit to the second baseman, he's looking to turn 2, gets to throw over to shortstop, over to first base in time for the double play. Great job there by NorCal Upe. And like we were talking about, Nate, that defense showing why they're probably one of the best ones out there for this tournament. Still a nothing ball game as we go to the bottom of the second.
Welcome back to the 2025 Filipino World Series. We're here in the bottom of the second, 0-0, all states versus the Northern California Ube team. Ube in the box right now. Representing them is going to be Reggie Fong.
Legendary name, Reggie Fong. Remember him from last year? Pretty sure he has a brother. I could be wrong. Roman Fong, that's right. Roman and Reggie Fong. Those were 2 of my favorite names last year. Haven't heard too much of Roman Fong, so I'd like to imagine that he's probably graduated already. Reggie probably being the younger brother here. Maybe 1, possibly 2 more Filipino World Series left in him after this.
I mean, you got Reggie Fong and Roman Fong. They passed the name test. That's very important as an athlete. Here's the 1-0. Swung on and driven the other way. The left fielder, that's Klein. Camps underneath it. Out number 1.
Yeah, this field has been acting really weird over these last few days. I've kind of noticed it. It's funny because obviously towards the right field side, you really aren't dealing with that sun a lot more. So that naturally makes it very tricky to play these balls. But it just feels like these balls are flying a little bit different down that left field line. And that goes for both lefties and righties at the plate. There have been a couple of lefties who have been a little bit late to the ball, and it almost seemed like they were trying to do that on purpose because that feel, it just seems a little different. That ball scorched into center field. It's going to get over the center fielder's head. Peterson not able to get a break on it. He's running all the way to the fence. Batter's going to round second base. He's going to try and get to third. He's not going to slide. He's going to stand up with his triple, throw his hands up to his teammates in the dugout. Everyone for Team NorCal Ube are pumped up. It's just a breakthrough performance there.
Yeah, you're going to see the triples can be some of the most exciting plays because, you have to go into second without any hesitation. And it looked like Heath Lockhart, once he saw it over the head of the center fielder Peterson, he was thinking 3 all the way.
Yeah, and Lockhart again, last year was one of the bigger guys in this tournament. This year finds himself again one of the bigger guys in this tournament. So there's going to be that power behind the ball. But the biggest thing is always, especially for me, bigger guys, you're basically like a walking brick wall out there. Trying to run across the bases like that, it can be hard for some of these bigger guys. So to see Heath Lockhart get all the way around to third base is, a lot more impressive than a lot of people will take credit for.
And anyone who played in the celebrity softball game last night knows running these bases is not easy.
Oh, yeah, especially.
Line drive is caught by the second baseman. They try to double him off, and they got him. Wow, what a play by the second baseman, Espejo. He caught the liner and immediately erased the triple from Heath Lockhart. The score is going to stay 0-0 as we head to the bottom of the second. Welcome back to the top of the third inning. It's now Ronan Turner that's going to lead things off for the All States team. Again, All States in white. NorCal Ube in that nice Ube color. You'll see that. Ronan Turner, the eighth slot. He's an extra hitter. They're batting 10 this tournament. It's a good move. It's a good way to get everyone some additional looks. Everyone who traveled in here, especially for this All States team. It's All States because there's one or two players from each and every state. All the states that aren't able to field a full team by themselves.
Yeah,
Yes.
one of the most exciting things from the banquet, them announcing that Midwest section for PVG should be very exciting and, especially for the tournament here. I would love to still have our all states team because again, we've got Filipinos coming from all over the nation, but especially that Midwest region. Obviously you've got places like Omaha, big baseball towns like that in the middle of nowhere where, you've got a couple of guys that really stand out on those high school teams. Really love to see those guys come through and represent their regions in the United States instead of just representing the whole country here.
All right, so the count's now 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Turner trying to get himself aboard. He's the leadoff batsman here in the third. And he's going to jam shot that one to the third baseman. It's past him and not caught by the shortstop either. So Turner does a job. The leadoff runner is aboard for Lenny Aragon.
Yeah, one of the big kind of counters to having an all turf field, Valley College especially, not only do they have the regular turf field in the outfield and the infield, but there's no dirt here either except for the pitcher's mound, of course. So third baseman Lockhart for NorCal Ube rushing on that ball, and all it takes is to, even having longer cleats could make you slip up. Having shorter cleats could have you slip up as well.
They show bunt, but he's going all the way, and he's going to steal the base. Turner slides in safely. That was a little risky. I mean, it looked like the batsman, Lenny, was trying to show bunt, and it could have been a delayed steal. I mean, the catcher, Aragon, almost looked like he wanted the back pick towards first, but throughout the chaos, Turner swiped second.
Yeah, but as I was talking about the kind of like the deficits of having an all turf field, Turner there kind of shows why it's kind of fun to be on a turf field, sliding around like that head first. Got to watch out for those elbows though. I've been the victim of a few rug burns, a few turf burns, if you want to call them. Man, they mess you up for weeks.
They show bunt again. It looks like they're trying a bunt and run because Aragon just bunted that foul, and now having to return the second is Turner. Turner was on the move, but Anyone who's been to Big League Dreams in Las Vegas, it's a ballpark complex that mimics professional stadiums. So you can imagine the outfield fence, they'll sort of paint an imaginary grandstand, and they'll copy old classic ballparks like Comiskey Park, Wrigley Field, Fenway Park, and those are all turf. And it's always fun to play on an all turf field because it's basically like playing on a big carpet. And the ground balls are predictable. Sliding, as long as you got your technique down pat, you're gonna slide a few extra inches. Um, but the winning run last night for the celebrity softball game, he certainly didn't have his sliding technique down.
Yeah.
But I think he was running hard enough to crawl home.
That's
for
why
the
he was
walk-off.
stumbling towards the bag. Again, your feet are gonna get kicked up under you, especially again if you're wearing, obviously I feel like a lot of people when they get like their athletic shoes on, those are the same shoes they've been wearing for years, and the soles are just gone. You get onto a turf field, and it's like walking on ice to a certain degree. There's the pickoff move. Wasn't really too shocked about that. Saw the shortstop crashing in a little bit. Obviously, Coach Torrente goes out to the mound. Ideally, when those things kind of happen, that they're up to something. But yeah, turf fields, a lot of fun to play on. Could not agree more. And especially when you talk about some of those venues where they have like the facades of major league stadiums. There's actually one here in Southern California, Chino Hills. They've got some facades. I remember Great American Ballpark being on there.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, it was just they have obviously like the grandstands makeshift and all that kind of stuff. And what they do is they actually lay a like sticker of fake fans out there, and they've all got their own like little facial expressions and all that kind of stuff. I was an outfielder growing up, so whenever we were at Chino Hills, it'd be a 3-hour drive. Most of the times, the teams that I was playing for, not really that good, so we were playing those early morning games, and I'd get really bored in the outfield, so I'd look around and look at the facial expressions of all the fans. It, always looked like they were always cheering, and we were a bunch of 11, 12-year-olds, not really hitting the ball that far. Let me tell you something. But yeah, turf fields in particular. Oaks Christian is a big one for me. Love Oaks Christian High School. They've got a nice setup, nice field out there. Hosts a lot of tournaments because for whatever reason, they've got 3 baseball fields on their campus as well as 2 additional softball fields. I mean, money gets pumped into the system. They've had some phenomenal athletes, especially in football, come out of that program. So, why not indulge in it? Get some of that extra pay from the high school and middle school tournaments that I was always a part of. Loved Oaks Christian, and the turf field there. It's always great. Slipping and sliding, man. Slipping and sliding was my name and game.
Well, Will Lewin, definitely one of the first few words that come to mind is slippery. Here's Milo Klein.
All right.
0-1 is the count. 1-1, excuse me. This time he bunts it, and it's a beauty, right, to the pitcher. His only plays at first, and there he is, trying to slip and slide, but he's out at first. It's a productive out. The runner moves to third. It's now 2 away for Aiden Espejo with a chance to break the tie.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you could see it there. That last hitter, he's got the turfs on. So in baseball, you've got your cleats, metal cleats at this point. All these guys in high school, they got to be wearing metal cleats. But there are some guys, especially on a turf field, where if you have turf shoes, which act a little different from cleats and actually give you a little more traction when you're on these kinds of fields, probably the reason why he was able to get down the line so quickly. But Espejo here, he's got these bright, flashy new cleats. The spikes in those are going to be nice and brand new. Could be a problem though. Again, right out the box, a little greasy, a little slippery. I don't like playing on a turf field with brand new cleats. Let me tell you something.
Yeah, playing baseball with brand new anything feels weird. Everything needs to be broken in and molded to you.
For me, it was always like a superstition. It was like, well, I'm doing well with this equipment. I don't want to change it yet because what if I change it and then I start playing poorly? I could never. I'm pretty sure I used the same glove for about 8 years before I got a new one. Bats kind of came and went. You always wanted to get the bat that everyone else was using. Your parents would go, into the store. There'd be stories about, bats that killed kids and all that kind of stuff. Your parents would walk in and be like, yeah, let me get the bat that killed the kid. It's like, yeah, that's what we want, guys, for sure.
Educated decisions. The
Yeah.
2-2 swung on and fouled away. I mean, yeah, you're right with the bats. Bats are interesting. I've been out of the game for a while now, and I feel like some bats, maybe it's my Northern California speaking, but some of the barrels just quite literally look like wine bottles with the way it's just matted out, very clean, elegant designs.
Yeah, you probably see a lot of them. That's probably because to me, I don't really look at it like that.
Line drive up the middle. It's a base hit for Aiden Espejo. It's going to drive in. Turner, he's going to score the first run of the game. It's 1-0 as Allstates takes the lead.
Yeah, great job there by Espejo, really letting that ball get all the way in there. And again, working that count against Johnson here, who, again, has been pretty phenomenal to start off. Hasn't really given up a lot of hits so far, but off the bat of Espejo there, he's able to get a job done. Obviously, they're able to get that bunt down earlier on the at-bat before able to push that runner over. And I mean, what's a Filipino baseball game without bunting?
I mean, it really just is a classic form of baseball. When you're able to play small ball, that's just pure teamwork right there. One team, one man, Milo Klein is able to sacrifice himself, move the runner over. I don't think Turner would have scored from second on that
No.
exact same hit.
No.
It was hit just a little too hard, and you don't want to just test Peterson's arm.
Yeah, obviously the way that Turner got to first and second, you were talking about it, Nate. It kind of looked like maybe a delayed steal. Here's the runner, Gaspayo, going off. That's a great time to go. As Seven's able to get that ball in between the center fielder and the right fielder. Gaspayo's going to come all the way around to come home plate. Coach Murph isn't even trying to wave him around. Now Coach Murph is going to focus on the hitter who's making his way over to third base. And another stand-up triple in today's game, this time with an RBI attached to it. And Allstates takes a quick 2-0 lead here in the third inning.
They just answer back with their triples. It's crazy how one team says you do it and I'll do it too.
Yeah, again, especially for a lot of these, high school guys who haven't really played at a field like Valley College. Again, while the difference between high school and JUCO isn't really all that different, you can get on some fields where the dimensions can be absolutely outstanding, especially when you're coming from a high school like mine where the dimensions were so weird and so short that you weren't really thinking about any gaps because naturally they were just kind of covered. Whereas here at Valley College, there's so much open space between each and every outfielder. Even in the infield, there looks to be so much more space than what should typically be on a regular baseball diamond.
Yeah, these dimensions are definitely something that these players are going to have to get used to. Again, this is an 18U tournament. They're playing it on a college level field. That pitch is going to be high, 1 ball, 1 strike, but that adjustment is always very interesting to make. I mean, every level the game gets faster and faster.
Yeah.
And you have to make those adjustments. Here's the 1-1. Fouled away, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nick Johnson is trying to get out of this. He wants a strikeout right now. He wants to strike out Xavier Aguia, who looked like he had a clean hit to right, but again, the great throw from Hikali on the Northern California team. He threw him out at first. So
Yeah.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Here it is, swung on in the air. It's in play. It looks like the center fielder, Oliver, has it, and that will do it. Allstates picks up 2. It's now 2-0 as we head to the bottom of the third. Welcome back to the 2025 Filipino World Series. We're in the Friday game, Game 3 on Friday. All States versus Northern California Ube. Leading things off is Ian Larot. He's facing Justin Tan on the mound. The first pitch from Tan is up and in. 1 ball, no strikes. It looked like a curveball that got away.
Yeah, we're obviously talking about the Fong brothers an inning ago. Now we can mention the Larot brothers as well. Again, last year they were playing on two separate teams, but again, the amalgamation of Northern California kind of put what I'd like to imagine all the best players onto one team so that they could go about and win this thing. But again, NorCal Ube did drop a game earlier in this tournament, I believe, to Team Canada, and Team Canada went on to go undefeated in their respective standings. Can't remember if they were Pinoy or Laban.
No, it and the story about Canada has just been impressive so far. They went winless last year to go undefeated this year. It is quite the story. There is a called strike. It's 2-2. And I was talking with one of the players from the Northern California teams. Last year they were zoned into their two different teams. One was a more San Francisco based team and the other was a more Sacramento based team. There's a high fly ball to left field. It could be trouble, but it's not too much trouble for Klein as he's under it for out number 1. But I did hear that this year the players did have a choice where they wanted to play. So that could factor into the performance. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Again, especially with these drafts that the Filipino World Series coaches have now started to put into play. Obviously, this year's draft a little more serious than the last, and they did do it way ahead of schedule just because there were so many things that happened last year, so many things falling through the cracks. They thought that, having the draft a little bit earlier would be better for the tournament, but what they failed to understand, what they failed to realize is that there'd be some of these kids who wouldn't be able to come out, have other tournaments playing on. There's so many high school guys, especially for the future series, like we saw. They want to get as many reps for their varsity high school teams as possible. As that check swing is called down the first base line.
Yeah, so it's going to be a 1-1 count for Aristotle Valdelion.
What a name!
Must be a thinking man.
Yeah,
Here's the 1-1. Swung on, grounded to third base side, foul.
a philosopher of sorts.
I mean, to be a ball player, this is one of the most intellectual games you could play because, there is so much downtime that the only way to fully stay engaged is to have a constantly active mind.
Yeah, like looking at the faces of fake fans on a fake field.
That is what makes a good ball player. The 1-2, it's going to smack him right in the front leg. He stays still like a stoic statue, accepts the hit by pitch, and goes to first.
Yep, that's wearing it if I've ever seen it. Textbook, especially if you got a big looping off speed like that. Yeah, it'll sting as it hits you, but you take a few steps down the line. I mean, you talk about walking it off quite literally. Pain doesn't stick around for too long. If I was in the dugout, be screaming at the top of my lungs and then wore it like a dress.
The runner goes. The throw down, safe. It was a ball on the pitch. So Ryder Seriosa, the starting catcher, he has an 0-1 count and a runner on second base. And the pitch from Justin Tan is swung on, fouled away. Not a bad hack. I mean, when you're able to get a piece of that outside pitch, it makes it tough as a pitcher because, well, now you can't exactly attack that outside zone because you can tell that the batsman is timing it up. And a big hitter like Ryder Seriosa, it might be a little dangerous to throw him inside. So Justin Tan's going to have to think really hard about what location he wants. His catcher's set up. The kick and the 1-1. Swung on and drilled. Left center field. Caught by Klein on a running grab. Wow, hustling back to second is Valdelion. And that easily saved a run. What a play from that left fielder.
Yeah, and it's those big liners between the center fielder and the left fielder that have definitely caused problems for a lot of players in this tournament so far. But Klein able to get a great read on it off the jump, make that first step back like you're always told to do as an outfielder, and able to catch that ball on the line. Great stuff from him.
So Chase Oliver, we swing back around to the top of the lineup. The leadoff batsman is going to look at one in the dirt. 1 ball, no strikes. Back in the first inning, he got a single to lead things off, and then eventually stole second, reached third, but he was stranded there.
Yeah, and going back to that first inning, Tan is probably looking back and being pretty happy that first time through the order. There's that ball. Not going to be his greatest pitch of the day, as I'm speaking so highly of him. I hope he can't hear me. But again, no runners crossed. He's given up a couple hits here and there, but again, it's not like any crazy unearned stuff is going on. Obviously, there was that weird play with Logan Nelson, the foul ball, maybe in between the pitcher and the third baseman for Team All-States. But other than that, it's been a pretty clean sheet for Tan so far. You'd like to imagine that he's going to take it as far as he can in this game today.
Swing and a ground ball to the shortstop, Santos. He has it. The throw across is going to do it. That ends the bottom of the third. It's still 2-0.
Welcome back to the Golden TV broadcast booth here at beautiful Monarch Field in Valley Glen, Southern California. We've got a couple of substitutions here. I'm going to let my main man Nate take over it because he's got a scorebook and I do not.
So 2 for 11. That's going to be jersey number 2 for the Ube team, as that first pitch is going to be a little too high. Batacan is going to be catching now. And then Hoskins is in as well. There's a swing and a miss. It's now 1-1. Batacan is catching, and Hoskins over at first base. You can see him there in that shot. A righty.
Kind of big man over there at first base, exactly what you love to see. Big stretches, I'm hoping, for the rest of the game. As a former first baseman, it's what you like to see. It's how you continue the game, continue the tradition.
So now it's going to be 1 ball, 2 strikes against Amado Viray Santos. And the 1-2 just outside, 2-2. Our in-stadium scoreboard is now up to date.
Putting him on blast like that is crazy.
I'm commending its accuracy.
I wasn't going to say anything, but
just outside a batsman's full house, Amado Viray Santos works at full after being 2-2.
Yeah, this All-States team, again, down 0-2 in the tournament so far. They've got this 2-run lead, which, again, always goes a long way. But, again, can they hold on to it? Can they add on to it as well? That's been the big thing for this tournament, as that's going to be swung on and missed. Got a piece of it, though. So it's not going to be an out recorded quite yet, like the scoreboard says.
Yeah,
But instead, it's still going to be no outs, and hitter's still going to be in the batter's box.
had that catcher caught it cleanly, it would have been a foul tip into the mitt and a strikeout. But because he did make contact and because it wasn't caught cleanly, it's a foul ball. Now he lays off of it. There's an appeal. Safe, says the first base umpire. So, Amado Verai Santos, he beats the full house. He's going to draw a walk. He's over at first.
Yeah, again, like you said, if Batacan just had a handle on that ball, would have been able to get this first out of the inning. But again, as we just mentioned at the beginning of the inning, that he just got subbed in, and maybe trying to shake off the nerves a little bit, maybe shake off some webs, trying to maybe catch guys in the bullpen. Don't know what's going on, but you like to imagine that he needs to get warm pretty soon. And on that check swing, a lot of the NorCal Ube fans asking for the check down the line, but again, the hitter there left-handed, so not a great angle for the umpire. They were outraged when he, called it not a strike, but most of the times he's not going to call it a strike because he just doesn't have that read on the ball. He's got to be down that third base line, or you just need more umpires to begin with.
0-1 count for Joseph Rumbawa. Now it's going to be 1-1 strike. Those check swings are tough to read. I mean, controversial check swings are abundant in Major League Baseball, and none more famous than that 2021 Game 5 with the Giants and the Dodgers.
Wilmer Flores, never forget.
Wilmer Flores. Last out was a check swing.
Yeah.
That's a tough play.
And that was a generational run for the Giants. They were just unexpectedly so good that year.
Generational run. That was a franchise run. That was the best season in Giants history.
Yeah.
In an illustrious 100-year history. Anyways, 1-1 strike. The pitch swung on. It's going to be in the air, in the field of play. It looks like the second baseman and right fielder are coming together, but it lands into the glove of Fong over at second.
Yeah, again, those check swings, especially down the line. I mean, obviously, you see the replays on social medias once they once they make the calls and all that kind of stuff, and people always debate on Instagram. Oh, it's so easy to call check swings. Da 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 da. The thing that you have to keep into consideration is that camera angle. Watching those check swings is a much better kind of head-on angle of the batter, whereas first base umpires down the line, he's at that angle where he can't really see the entire plate, and so what may look like an obvious full swing on a check swing to the average viewer who's seeing it from a side-on angle, you take into consideration of the umpire who's a few more degrees away from the batter, and it completely messes with his view and completely messes with his judgment as well.
So apologies for the screen. This is Daniel Aquino, number 11 for Team All-States.
Yeah, Aquino, a big guy here, already growing a little bit of facial hair here. Runner's going to take off early. Stuck in a rundown here. Pitcher's going to throw over to the shortstop. Shortstop quickly gets it over to his first baseman. Firstman running him back. Now throws it to the second baseman. Second baseman back to the catcher. Now he makes his way over and makes the tag. Was not expecting to see a man in full gear make the tag on the runner caught in a pickle. And none other than Batacan able to make up for that error that we talked about earlier, dropping that ball on the foul tip strike, able to get the out himself. Probably rushed over there wanting to do exactly that.
Well, we need to get the prop. So who had the ball first? So it was the pitcher at 1.
The pitcher
gave it to 3.
The pitcher gave it to the shortstop. The shortstop gave it to the first baseman to the second baseman to the catcher. Catcher tags out the runner.
So a classic 1-6-3-4-2 out.
My favorite. Man, oh man, I love baseball. To the people in this booth and to the people watching at home who don't really pay attention to baseball too much and you're listening to this, I am so very sorry. We are not doing any better in trying to get you to enjoy this sport, as Johnson is able to get the called strike 3 on the hitter. He's going to kind of nimbly walk back to the dugout. I'm not sure if he got injured from just standing in the batter's box there after watching strike 3, but it is going to be a 2-0 ball game here at the conclusion of 3 innings. We'll go to the 4th right after this.
Welcome back to the 2025 Filipino World Series. We're here in the bottom of the fourth inning. All states away, NorCal Ube home, and all states on the mound now. It's still Justin Tan facing off against Amado Veray Santos for the NorCal Ube team. Justin Tan from the stretch is going to kick and fire ball one. It was just below the zone, but Justin Tan has been doing a great job. Only one strikeout so far, but he's been pitching to a lot of contact, a lot of pop-ups, a lot of weak ground balls. This is a very impressive outing. And the pitch, a little too high. 2 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, I'm looking over at this radar gun that I'm assuming one of the parents for Team All States has set up before the game, and I honestly haven't seen a number tick above 71, 72 miles an hour. So while Tan might not have the quickest stuff in the tournament, he's been able to get these guys out just like that. A swing on a miss on Veray Santos. That looked like a 64-mile-an-hour changeup up in the zone. It's now a 2-1 count there. But again, just making a lot of these hitters look somewhat foolish, not looking like they know what they're doing up there. Great job by him making, kind of that, having that ability to just be able to use what you have to the fullest of its potential there.
So now it's 2-2. And even on that pitch, you could tell that when they try to swing at it, it's almost like you're bringing up the velocity there, Will. It's almost like trying to swing at a bag of feathers. Even when you do hit it square, it just doesn't go quite as far as you'd like.
Yeah, that's the thing with, some of these slower pitchers that you have nowadays. It's almost kind of like a strategy. Is Veray Santos is actually going to lift that one down the third base line. Third baseman giving chase. Same with the left fielder and shortstop. They all meet right around the ball, but no one's able to make the grab. It does land in foul territory. So Veray Santos is going to make his way on back over to home plate, try and replicate it, and possibly put it more towards fair territory.
Yeah, I mean those Bermuda Triangle plays are really difficult. You got 2 infielders and the left fielder all coming together, and when you see that happen, you just cross your fingers and hope that no one runs into each other. But it's almost like a circus act. One guy slides, and the other two say, "All right, I'll jump then."
Yeah, there are a few plays where you're kind of watching two guys run towards it, and the entire time you're just kind of wincing away. It's like a bad car accident. It's like you know what's gonna happen, but you just can't look away just in case it doesn't happen.
The 2-2, low, a batsman's full house. 3 balls, 2 strikes for Amado Veray Santos. In the first inning, he popped up to the third baseman Aguia, and now he has a chance to get things started for the Northern California team, who desperately wants to get on the board. They're running out of ball game. We're right past the halfway mark. Here's the payoff pitch, and they do a job. The leadoff runner is aboard for the third slot hitting Joseph Rumbawa.
Yeah, and a great job there by Veray Santos. Given another opportunity, as we talked about that foul ball landing in between 3 fielders, he's able to get it back and get the walk out of Tan here. Not a lot of those being issued up by number 6 on the mound, so you'd like to imagine that he can flip this page quickly as he faces his next batter against Team Ube.
I mean, that's his first walk all day. He did hit a batsman. There's the ground ball to third. The only plays at first. Veray Santos had a running start, so he's going to be safe at second. I believe that was a hit and run, and if it was, a very well executed one for Joseph Rumbawa.
Yeah, obviously the best executed ones. We've seen it already, a hit and run where both runners are saved. That time around, just a weak ground ball to the third baseman. Aguila is able to pick it up, throw it over to first base. He did check the runner, but just gets the 1 out, and now they've got a runner in scoring position. Ube definitely needs to get some scoring done here. Just try and get on the board. Again, they've had some really good moments in the tournament so far. They didn't start off hot. They did a really good job the second day. Obviously had the celebrity softball game as Veray Santos is going to take off to third. He's going to slide in and make it in time. The throw was a little bit off there by the catcher, Aragon. Third baseman Aguila is able to field it, but on the wrong side of the bag, and Veray Santos now essentially 2 stolen bags, but only one's going to count in the scorebook.
Yeah, what an impressive display of speed for Veray Santos. I mean, stealing third is no easy task. Here's the pitch. It's low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Stealing third's a little harder because, the pitcher, when he lifts his leg, he doesn't have to dedicate home. He can always have that spin move. The catcher is, of course, a lot closer. It's 90 feet versus 120 something. The only benefit that he has is Logan Nelson is a righty, so there's some chance he gets in the way. Good block from the catcher, Aragon, as he's able to keep the runner at third. If that gets by him, that could be disastrous because then Ube is only within 1 run.
Yeah, and for that specific situation alone is the reason why I could never be a catcher. To be hunched down for an entire game, and especially these ones that are lasting 2.5 hours, a run's going to score here off the bat of number 17. He scores the run. Vare Santos comes across home plate. Great job there by Team Ube, finally able to get on the board here. It's now a 2-1 ball game in favor of Team Allstates, as it's going to be number 3, Reggie Fong, stepping up to the plate now for the team in all purple.
Yes, that was Hoskins batting for Logan Nelson, so Hoskins was in the box. This is still Reggie Fong, jersey number 3. So Hoskins will get the RBI, and the pitch is going to be low. 1 ball, no strikes. And that one is high. So it's 2 away. Joseph Rumbawa grounded out to the third baseman. Hoskins grounded out to the shortstop. Hoskins does get that RBI. Reggie Fong trying to see if they can strike twice in 1 inning. Maybe get a 2-out rally going. It's now 3-0.
Team Ube probably wish that pass ball would have come a little bit sooner, maybe while Hoskins was up to bat. Instead of having to sacrifice your guy in order to score the run, just get it for free on the error of the other team. Lockhart, again, a big guy, probably wasn't trying to get on for the base hit, probably wanted to put his team first, get the run in, but again, just a waste of an at-bat. He does do the job. Fong walks. Now it's going to be Lockhart who steps up. Again, he had a really great at-bat the first time around, a triple, if I'm not mistaken.
So yeah, Heath Lockhart. He hit a triple back in the second before he was thrown out on that line drive double play. Now the runner goes. Oh, he could go 3, but he's going to stay put. That is why when you steal a base, you have to peek in. When Reggie Fong was stealing, all he had his eyes set on was second base. Had he looked in, as you're taught to do, you take 3 steps and you look into the batter's box. He would have seen that ball went away. He wouldn't have slid in the second. He would have rounded it and easily made it to third with his exceptional speed.
Yeah, definitely, base stealing 101 there, especially for a lot of these righty hitters. You slide with your right leg and extend with your left, but naturally, if you're going into second base, like Reggie Fong there, your back is going to be turned towards the batter. So while you do know that the ball is behind the catcher, you don't know how far it's gone behind the catcher. And in that case, had Reggie Fong just kind of looked once right before going in for that slide, he would have seen that he could easily just popped off the bag and immediately gone over to third.
Swing and a miss. It's 1-2. And it's also important to remember you have to peek in when you're stealing, because if that ball is hit in the air, you do run the chance of being doubled off. So always remember your baseball 101. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, a runner on second, a chance for NorCal to get on the board here. The pitch. Low, it's high, and behind the catcher, and now he rounds third. He's heading home, the slide, the tag. He's safe. And there it is. Reggie Fong shows off that legendary speed. He scores all the way from second, and NorCal is on the board. It's 2-1.
Yeah, you want to talk about base running 101. Obviously, we talked about from the hitting standpoint and Reggie Fong, what he could have done better. Now let's talk about defensively and team states, what they could have done better. Tan sees the ball get by his catcher, Eragon. Eragon doesn't know where the ball goes, so Tan tries to help him out, but Eragon finds the ball at the same time. They both end up going after it. No one's covering home plate, and Reggie Fong gets 2 free bases and ties the game up here for Team Ube.
And that's a 2-out manufactured run right there. Reggie Fong reaches first on a walk. He stole a couple bases and then scored on a wild pitch. Wow. They just manufacture that out of thin air.
Again, it's how a lot of these games have gone, really. And again, even last year's tournament, you see this all the time where you get 1 or 2 base runners on, and through bunting, through sacrificing, stealing, all that kind of stuff, they're able to get these runners across, get these runners in. That's the big important part. It's always going to be scrappy gameplay here in the Filipino World Series as head coach Murph of Team State steps out onto the mound to consult his pitcher.
Yeah, Heath Lockhart drew the walk. So this is a brand new ball game, folks. It's tied.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, so early in this ball game, 4th inning. I mean, I say early, it's kind of halfway through. I'm so used to your typical 9 innings that whenever we get to these tournaments, and they're now 7 innings, always throws me off guard. But the thing that really gets me off guard is that we'll still be here for 2.5 hours, and I'll go to any regular MLB or college game where it is 9 innings, and I'm there for probably, less than 2 hours sometimes. So I don't get what's going on here. It really does show how much the pitch clock is done for the game of baseball, and they've already implemented it into the junior college level. So naturally, high school is next, and especially for these long, dragged out games, sometimes you just kind of hope it was there.
Alex Hikali now is going to look at the first strike. You also have to remember, Will, this is the Filipino World Series, so I think we're all just running off of Filipino time.
Yeah, I know. I'm none the wiser. Filipino tells you that they're going to be there at 4 o'clock. Be ready for their arrival at 6.
Sorry about this morning, by the way.
It's okay. My Filipino co-host, Nate, told him to show up at 9. Came at 9:30.
Hey, the game was ready by 10. That's what matters.
Thank God. Someone had to make sure the game was going at 10 o'clock. Or else we wouldn't be starting this game until 7. Then we wouldn't start the 7 o'clock game until 10. And that's if we're lucky.
Yeah, there's certain, some people can be colorblind. Some can be just straight up blind. We're time blind. It's just not a concept to us.
Hey, I'm not against it. I can understand, Oh, and there's a pickoff attempt. But it's going to be a balk, actually. Probably the reason why Lockhart took off so early. Not allowed to do that, Justin Tan. Let me tell you. Can't be taking multiple moves on the mound. It's got to be one step off the rubber, throw the ball. Heath Lockhart knows the rules, knows that he was going to get that free base, didn't even consult with the umpire, just immediately sauntered his way on over to second base.
So, 1 ball, 1 strike. The pitch to Akali is at his ankles. It's now 2-1.
We mentioned it a few innings earlier about this defensive prowess from Hikale here. Needs that bat to wake up again in order to get the full remarks of this game and really do a job for Team NorCal Ube, especially since now they're kind of banging on the door, tying the game in this inning.
Here it is. In the dirt. Good block from the catcher, Aragon. As the runner on second, Lockhart, has the retreat. That could have been not necessarily disastrous, but less than ideal. A runner on second base with 2 outs is the same as a runner on third. Either way, he has to score off of a clean base hit. Hikali, with a 3-1 count, he has a chance at it. But instead, a called strike. That was inside. Even Hikali thought it was ball 4. He was getting ready to toss the bat. So that's going to be a pitcher's full house as Justin Tan worked himself full after being down 3-1.
Yeah, and that thing rattles you here. As the betting man that I am right now, I would bet on a strikeout right here from Tan.
The payoff pitch. And the chance for your bet to still happen is alive.
Hey, I'll take it. As long as we break even.
What's on the line here, Will?
Well, again, I'm just thinking about the fact that when you're in that position where your mindset is so dead set on a walk, where you're basically throwing the bat towards your dugout, to have the umpire take that away from you and you're still standing in the box, it rattles you a little bit. And I think Tank can really take advantage of it here.
We'll see. what they do with the second 3-2. Here it is. Swung on. It's in the air. It's not going to be a strikeout as it lands into the glove of the left fielder Klein.
I tried.
And that'll do it. So, NorCal Ube makes things interesting. They pick up 2. It's tied at 2 as we head to the top of the 5th. Welcome back to the 2025 Filipino World Series. Now on the mound is Gino Larot, pitching for the Northern California Ube team. He's going to face off against Justin Tan. So pitcher on pitcher action here. First pitch is a called strike, 1-1. And now the pitch is low, 1 ball, 1 strike. Justin Tan grounded out.
Did one of the extensions get turned off? Which one?
Ground ball to the second baseman. Over the first, 1 away. It looked like that was falling to Hoskins. And some technical difficulties here in the booth. It looks like we lost all of our feeds. Hopefully anyone can hear me right now. All right, 1 away after Justin Tan is retired. Ronan Turner is going to foul off that first pitch. And the pitch down low. So 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Ronan Turner reached on an infield single, and he scored the first run of the game back in the 3rd inning. And the pitch up high, 2 balls and 1 strike. Defense playing straight away. The kick and the pitch is low. 3 balls, 1 strike. And Larot has a very interesting motion. He steps back far, and it looks like he just fires it in. There's a pitcher's full house after he was down 3-1. And the payoff pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. He got him to chase that curveball out of the zone. It was a risky pitch that ended up paying off. 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. So now it's Lenny Aragon. And that first pitch is going to be low. And the pitch low again. So 2 balls, no strikes. Aragon is being very patient at the plate right now. And that one's in the dirt. So 3-0 is the counts. As we're able to get everything working here in the Golden TV broadcast booth. Finally finds the zone. There's strike one. Swung on, ground ball to the third baseman. Lockhart has it. The throw is high and everyone's safe. Now he's rounding second. Aragon is going to find himself in scoring position with 2 outs. And just like that, Allstates puts up a threat. It's going to send Milo Klein to the plate with the go-ahead run at second. That has to go down as an E5.
Yeah, we'll fix it real quick. Yeah, we gotta plug it in. Oh, okay. Yeah. Can you switch real quick?
One of those throws that gets away. First baseman Hoskins was doing everything he could. He jumped as high as he could. It was just such an errant throw. Good stop from the catcher, Batacan. He's going to keep the runner at second. So 1 ball, no strikes. Top of the 5th here. Low 2-0.
Yeah, Allstate's knocking on the door here after giving up those 2 runs last inning, trying to answer back here and quickly regain that lead as that ball misses again low in the turf there. Pitchers have kind of struggled here in the second half. Naturally, kind of happens, especially here at the high school level. But again, the fall off really is kind of exemplary in every game. I feel like we always get to the point where it's a very low scoring affair between both teams. And then once we hit that 4th, 5th, even 6th inning mark, that's when the runs really start showing up. Obviously, Team SoCal Hines has done it twice now where they score 6 runs in the 6th inning at least. As another walk is going to be drawn there by number 3 of Team States, Klein. Espejo is going to step up to the plate now here for Team States as a mound visit is going to occur between the first baseman of Team States, Harrington. I believe that's actually a new first baseman there, actually. Excuse me, Hoskins.
Yeah, Hoskins, number 17. He came in the place of Logan Nelson, who was at first. Espejo is going to look at one low in the dirt. Espejo today is 1 for 2. He had a hit back in the 3rd inning. It was an RBI single, and then he eventually scored the 2nd run of the day. Now the 1-0 in the dirt, 2-0 is the count. 2 runners on.
Great piece of blocking there by Batacan. Again, we talked about how last inning was his first inning of work and let a couple balls get by him there, but now he's really seemed to lock in on his fielding prowesses here, doing a great job for his pitcher out on the mound, Laurent. Able to keep that ball in front of him, not letting anyone get a free base here, especially when you've got one in scoring position and 190 feet away from him as well.
And the 3-0. Down low, it's called strike 1. So we have to fix our scoreboard. That was an interesting call. And that one's going to be ball 4.
Yeah, Batacan not able to keep that one in front of him, but doesn't really matter anyways. They're going to get the free 90 bases all around, and now 2 outs, bases loaded. It's going to be number 7, Santos, who's going to step up to the plate now, but head coach Torrante for Team NorCal Ube is going to step out onto the mound, have a quick chat with his pitcher. I don't believe they're going to be making any substitutions yet. There is some action in the bullpen down that left field line, but just seems to be a pretty box standard conversation between coach and players here. Very crucial moment here for Team NorCal Ube especially. They're going to try everything in their power not to give up any runs here. Again, they just got the lead, the deficit that they were facing undone, but now it actually looks like they might be making a call to the bullpen here. Torrente makes a wave over to the bullpen. It may just be to call his guy back into the dugout, not actually onto the mound. So it'll still be Larot out there for Team NorCal Ube, still doing a job here for the team in purple. Up to bat again is Santos. First pitch he sees is going to be low in the turf. Quickly a 1-0 count here for him. Santos is 1 for 2 on the day. He tripled in his last at bat, but grounded out to the second baseman the first time around in the first inning. Really looking to try and find some of that ideal success that he's had in his last at bat. Triple would score all 3 runs here. What do you think, Nate?
I mean, absolutely. If he can hit back-to-back triples and back-to-back at-bats, and it would. If there's anyone on this team, it would be Easton Santos. He definitely has the speed for it, and that would break this game wide open. That one fouled straight back. 2-2. This is a pivotal moment here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The bases are loaded, and the game is tied at 2. Top of the 5th. We're late in the ball game. If all states can deliver here, it would be momentous. Swing, and there's a flare. Right center field, caught by the center fielder Oliver, and that neutralizes the bases loaded threat. The game is going to stay tied at 2-2 apiece as we head to the bottom of the 5th. Welcome back to the 2025 Filipino World Series. We're here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Leading things off is jersey number 12 for the Ube team, Ian Larot. Here's the pitch. It's low. 1 ball, No strikes. Ian Larotte is going to lead it off. Earlier in the game, he flew out to the left fielder. Now there's a devastating curveball that does miss high. 2 balls and no strikes. If he's able to locate that, it would be a nasty pitch. So 2-0. The pitch, high. On the mound for all states is jersey number 20. That's going to be Xavier Aguilla.
Over from the third base spot. Again, like to imagine he's definitely got a strong arm, always making that throw across the diamond wherever he gets a ground ball, as that's in there for a strike. Now a 3-1 count, trying to make his way all the way back here. Yeah, I can't lie. I'm looking at the screen here, and I'm not sure if it's just the big kind of stature of Aguilla now on the mound, but it's just a whole lot of white on this screen, and it's really blinding me right now. Obviously, all states are dressed in all white, but their catcher fitted up with the Boomba all white attire, and again, especially trying to battle this heat, might not be the greatest thing in the world, as that ball is going to be grounded over to the shortstop. That's going to go down as an E6 on Santos. Should have been able to corral that one and throw it over to first base, but not so. And now it's going to allow number 10 for Team Ube to step up to the plate here.
Yeah, that was a tough play. It looked like he was just he got a little ahead of himself.
Yeah, again, especially on a big field like this, it definitely looks a lot bigger than what it actually is. As the runner's going to take off from first, and he's going to get there safely. Ball actually bounces off the head of the second baseman there for Team States, as he's not able to corral it in either. But again, we were talking about that last inning, about how these runs keep coming in and how these teams keep attacking on runs. And it's those simple walks, simple base hits where they may have beat it down the line, and then just stealing bag after bag after bag. Now we've already got a runner in scoring position for Team Ube. Still a 2-2 ball game here.
Yeah, tough play, but Aristotle Valdeleon is going to show bunt, and he lays it down. It's a beauty. The only play is going to be the first. The pitcher, Aguilla, is the one who fields it and heads over there. So 1 away. Great pitch. Great play, great bunt. The runner's on third now, and NorCal Ube is 90 feet away from taking the lead.
I mean, yeah, if you need me to pick one play that describes Filipino baseball, there it is for you right there. No doubt about it. Got a runner on second base, no outs. Get the bunt down right in front of the pitcher. Doesn't need to be down the line or anything like that. Just enough to get that out over at first instead of trying to get the out at third. And does a good job pushing that runner over. Now 90 feet away from scoring here. As again, Ube trying to get their first lead of the game after all states went up 2-0 early, but have since given up that lead and now find ourselves in a tie game here in the bottom of the fifth.
So Mateo Batacan is going to lift one, right field, finding it, losing it in the sun is the right fielder. And all of a sudden, Ube is going to take the lead 3-2. That was a tough play for the right fielder, Aquino. You can tell by the shadows, the ball was just right in the sun. It didn't drop too far in front of him. It was maybe a body length away. So very, very tough play. That's going to be a very unlucky sour base hit for Mateo Batacan.
Yeah, and again, I obviously talked about it earlier in this game about the difference between left field and right field here at Monarch Field. In left field, the ball tends to carry a little bit more, especially if you're getting those balls with a little bit of side spin. It can be hard for some of these left fielders, even center field, that happen to find themselves in left center field, try and track that ball down. But over in right field, and especially for second basemen and for first basemen, trying to track that ball down in the sun can be one of the most difficult things here, especially in Southern California, where on a day like today, not a single cloud in sight. That sun is definitely going to take its toll, and we saw it there.
Chase Oliver is going to sky one in the gap. Left center field, it splits everyone. It's going to one-hop the wall. One runner's in. He's rounding second. He's digging for 3, and he's going to get it. An RBI triple to give Ube the 4-2 lead.
Yeah, another triple in today's ball game. A lot of these guys are really finding that open field. That one was absolutely launched towards the left center field gap there. able to take advantage of it, picks up his free bases, and again, almost could have been another stand-up triple had he unhitched the trailer a little bit sooner there rounding the base paths.
Sometimes it's the excitement of getting a hit, but the left fielder and the center fielder just knew right away that was going to be trouble. They turned their backs, and they're in a dead sprint for where they thought it was going to land. Here's Amado Veray Santos. Ooh, look out. That's going to smack him right on the dome. He looks to be okay, though. It was a curveball that slipped away from the hands of Aguila. And so now it's going to give a pair of snake eyes for the Northern California team. Chase Oliver on third. Veray Santos on first.
Yeah, not the greatest answer there from the pitcher Aguila. Again, you give up that triple. The last thing you want to do is just bonk the next guy on the head. Thankfully, he is okay. And like you said, a curveball, so it's not going to rattle him too much. And that throwdown is going to be a fake to the pitcher. Great execution there. But the runner on third, wiser than them, able to get back on a dive. That's the center fielder Oliver making that dive back at third base. Saw what was happening. The catcher makes it seem like he's throwing it all the way to second base. The pitcher ducks, but then all of a sudden stands up, intercepts the ball, and then throws it to third to try and get the lead runner out. But again, none the wiser is number 13 of Team NorCal Ube, and he's safely at third. And now there are two runners in scoring position with only one out recorded here.
Well, 2 balls, no strikes. Yeah, the runners on second and third. A base hit would really break this game open. A 6-2 lead in the bottom of the fifth would be devastating for this All-States team that was leading up until the fourth inning.
Yeah, again, you go 3 innings scoreless and then score 4 runs. That's a really good deal for Team NorCal Ube. But on the other side of the ball, you get the scoring done early for Team All-States, go up 2 runs, but then immediately lose that lead the next inning. And then the inning after that, you're now down by 2 runs. Not a great sign here for Team All-States, who, again, is already 0-2 on the tournament so far. So trying to climb back here and, again, just not drop to a completely winless tournament run here.
Yeah, well, I mean, if there's any consolation to the All-States team, it is difficult to play ball with a team that you don't know too well. Again, all these kids are hailing from different states across the country. Another thing is the fact that they did have that lead and they were able to shut out this very potent NorCal offense for the first 3 innings. It shows they can play together, and I'm sure that 0-2 record is not doing them enough justice. This team is showing glimpses of competence and dominance. They just need to hold on to this lead. That's why the infield's playing in, not this lead, but a competitive striking distance. The infield's playing in, anything on the ground, they're going to try to go home if the runner goes. If the runner stays put, they'll play it first.
And again, like you said, having an all-states team here, it can be very difficult with that chemistry, trying to build that in a matter of days. I was here earlier last week and I saw Coach Chris Murphy, who is the head coach of Team All-States. He was out here with the team because he knew how important it was to try and build as much chemistry as possible in such a short amount of time. And again, it's kind of playing effect here. They're still looking for their first win. They find themselves down in this game, but you can hope that they can turn that corner.
Diving stop by the shortstop, and that is a great play by Santos, again, over there at short. It was a one hopper that he knocked down. He couldn't catch it cleanly, so safe at first with an infield hit and an RBI is Joseph Rumbawa as the Northern California team makes it 5-2. But it was a good play by Santos. Had he not dove in and stopped that ball, the runner on second could have scored as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, just great base running all around. The runner on second base noticing the big rule, especially when you're on second base, is that when that ball is hit in front of you, check to see where that throw is going to be going. Or if there's no throw at all, there's no point in running forward. Whereas if that ball's behind you, just take off. You're better off trying to get to third base than you are trying to get yourself back to second base. So really good job base running all around there. Obviously, the runner on third reading the ball, gets into the turf, immediately takes off. And now we've got a 5-2 ball game here in favor of NorCal Ube.
So the first baseman, that's Harrington over at first. He's playing in front of the runner. Leo Hoskins was batting in the fourth. Now we return back to Logan Nelson here in the fifth. Hoskins grounded into the shortstop back in the fourth.
Yeah, and this is, I think, one of the many antics that Coach Torrente brings to this Filipino World Series every year. I believe the reason why Logan Nelson was taken out of the game and replaced with Leo Hoskins is so that he could get warm in the bullpen. Obviously, the rules here in the Filipino World Series are a little more relaxed, so you're free to substitute players, bring them back in, take them out again. As the runner's going to take off from second base, no chance did he have at making it to third base, and the runner's tagged out.
Yeah, that was just a spectacular throw from the catcher. It was perfect. It was an outside pitch, which allows him to step almost into the left-handed batter's box, clear the right-handed batsman, and make the good throw to third.
Yeah, and especially Espejo, who now started the day at second base, finds himself over at third base now with Aguila on the mound, able to make that tag down. Runner's trying to get a little bit shifty with his legs, trying to go around the tag, but unfortunately not able to do it successfully. Umpire probably didn't even have a good enough angle to begin with. If that ball is beating you, you're going to be called out 9 out of 10 times.
And the pitch swung on and lifted into the outfield. The right fielder is going to camp underneath it. That's Aquino, and that's out number 3. But the NorCal team, they pick up 2. It is now, they pick up 3. It's now 5-2 as we head to the top of the 6th. Welcome back to the 2025 Filipino World Series. The first pitch is going to be swung on and fouled. That is jersey number 20, Xavier Aguila, not the starting pitcher, but the relief pitcher, who is in the box at the moment.
Yeah, Aguila going to try and have a Shohei Ohtani moment here. Was just seen on the bump for Team All States in the bottom half of last inning. Now finds himself leading off for his team, trying to get something started. As again, they've given up 5 runs in the last 2 innings, completely unanswered, and now find themselves down by 3 here in the top of the 6th inning.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Aguila, one of those just team foundations. You bat third, you're one of the pitchers. Now he's going to sky one to center field, but the left fielder comes out of nowhere. That's Akali. And that's always a funny moment when it feels like it's hit the center, and then all of a sudden you got one of your corner outfielders just blazing in out of nowhere.
Yeah, again, especially in the outfield, your center fielders looked as like your field general almost. He's the one that's supposed to be calling you off if it's close between the two of you. That ball wasn't even close. That ball was more towards center field than right field. But again, Hakale, we brought his name up a lot defensively so far in today's game. He really wants to make a name for himself, it seems like.
And I mean, with a glove, with an arm, with legs like that, it's inevitable. There's a called strike on the outside corner. It's 0-2.
It's always good to see an outfielder that just likes to get after it.
Swing and a little flare down the left field line. Foul. Wow, that was foul by less than a body length at least. Just over the glove of the third baseman, Hall, who was trying to get over there. And that's an unusual spot for that young man. He normally plays middle infield or pitcher, but with his arm, there's no doubt he can make that throw from third. It's gonna be interesting to look at. Here's the pitch, just outside. It's 1-2.
Yeah, Gino Lora on the mound, really abusing that outside part of the zone here, especially against these lefties. As we saw that foul ball over towards left-hand side, that pitch lastly missed on the left-hand side of the batter's box, but he's going to throw an inside pitch that's going to result in a ground ball and a ground out towards his first baseman, Logan Nelson. Doing a job there, unassisted. Gino Lora was there for some, missing the word here, support, just in case he needed it. But ultimately, we love a good PFP, but Logan Nelson said, I got it. Go back to the bump. We need you for pitching. I don't need you fielding. I don't want to get you injured or anything like that. And now Gino Lora has to set his sights on Harrington, the first baseman for Team All States.
Yeah, at that point, the pitcher's just covering for emotional support. Swing and a miss. It's 0-2.
Yeah, the last thing you want as a pitcher is when that ball goes over to the left-hand side, and yeah, you get the out recorded. Don't get me wrong. I've had some coaches in my day where you'd come back you come back into the dugout, and your coach just be chewing you out just because you didn't get over there. And it's like, well, coach, we still got the out. For him, it doesn't matter. It's about
It's about the second nature
it's the idea of it. It's you're clearly not locked in. You're clearly not paying attention. Da da da. And it's like, well, coach, maybe it's just because I don't want to run over to first base. I trust my guys.
Ooh, a close pitch, but a good take from Jimmy Harrington. Harrington is 1 for 2 today. He did have a single back in the second. And the 2-2. Grounder to the third baseman Hall. Across the diamond, right there for out number 3. The score stays 5-2 as we head to the bottom of the 6th. Welcome back to the 2025 Filipino World Series. We have some defensive substitutions. It's going to be Buenaventura in the box. The first pitch he's going to see against the Gia is going to be a called strike. It's 0-1, and coming in on deck is Heath Lockhart. In the hole is jersey number 4, Tomaldin.
Yeah, kind of surprising to see Aguila back out on the mound after giving up that 3 spot in the bottom of the 5th inning. But obviously, Coach Chris Murphy trusts his guy and believes in him to get the job done here and, kind of redeem himself from the previous inning, especially now that they're on 2 back-to-back innings and 5 combined runs off the bats of Team NorCal Ube. That pitch going to miss inside. It's now quickly a 3-1 count here on the hitter.
Buenaventura is towing the box. I mean, he likes to crowd the plate, and he's going to swing and miss at that one. He almost has a closed stance. His front right foot is closer to the line than his left foot. That must give an interesting look.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised here if throughout high school this guy learns to have a pigeon toe. You ever seen a pigeon toe? I used to rock a pigeon toe back in high school.
A pigeon toe batting stance?
Yeah, pigeon toe. For those of you who don't know, when you're in the batter's box, instead of having your feet kind of outright towards your dugout or whatever it may be, you instead turn inside your left foot if you're a righty, or your right foot if you're a lefty, and you actually kind of have your toe point towards your other foot. It's a weird thing. I kind of liked it. I thought it helped me with my first step. I always found myself stepping out,
Hmm.
kind of away from home plate, and that's why I swung and missed at so many outside pitches because I'm an idiot. But having the pigeon toe, and holy smokes, that ball was way up and way outside. Runner's going to easily advance from first to second. That ball was completely airmailed over the catcher there from Aguila. Not sure what happened there. Whenever you see things like that, you really kind of hope that, there's obviously no injury, no arm concerns that may have been thought of before the game. But Team All-State's, again, desperate for a win here, doing whatever it takes to try and, come out of this tournament not winless. But seems as though the umpire checked the ball a little bit. Aguila maybe blaming the laces, maybe not rubbed up enough. So hopefully nothing too crazy there for Aguila out on the mound.
Yeah, it can be interesting watching the pitchers work in the Filipino World Series. Now, Aguila's going to set for Royce Hall. Swing and a miss. It's 1-2. One of the aspects, one of the areas of opportunity, to put it softly, for the Philippines baseball is pitching. I mean, we had some high-scoring games, like you said. Later on in the game, the train tends to fall off of the tracks, so to speak. Here's the 1-2. It's now 2-2. Filipinos, I mean, they have speed. They do have power. We did see a number of home runs last year. I don't think we've seen too many yet this year. They do have speed. They do have defense. It's really just that power pitching that would round out the entire arsenal. Now there's a line drive right to the second baseman, Espejo. Excuse me, not Espejo. He's over at third. That is jersey number 6 for Coach Murph's team, Justin Tan. So Justin Tan went from the mound to second base.
Good to see that he's still out there doing a job for his team. Again, obviously, giving up those 2 runs in the 4th inning, not how you want to, get your team along by. But that ball is actually going to hit off of Aguila on the mound. No one's there to recover. Aguila's going to have to step off the mound, run all the way over to his third baseman, Espejo, to pick it up, not allow the runner from the home plate and the batter's box to advance all the way to second and try to get a sneaky double. Now there are just runners on the corners here for number 12 here, Lorot. Good to see both the Lorot brothers in play here. Obviously, his brother Gino on the mound for Team Ube. Not sure if we're going to see him get on that bat, but always good to see brothers both out on the field, especially playing defense.
So there's only one away, 2 on. Now pick off to first. Full extension is Tomilden.
Yeah, very quick pickoff move there by Aguila. Again, he's a bigger guy, so you wouldn't really expect him to kind of move off of the mound that quickly, and especially insert all of your momentum towards first base. The runner's going to take off. They're going to do the fake throw to second base yet again, but Team NorCal has already seen that trick once. Can't be a one-trick pony in this game. You get figured out too quickly, too easily. If you keep doing that throughout the tournament, people are going to catch on, and especially Team All-States, likely going to be playing in that first game tomorrow morning, bright and early, 8 a.m. Make sure you're here right here on Philippines-baseball.org to catch the game live, 8 a.m. tomorrow Pacific Standard Time.
Yeah, full day of games tomorrow, the final day of the series. And it's shaped up to be a good one this year.
Yeah, the format this year, especially separating the teams into 2 divisions. You've got one division of 4, another division of 4, the Laban standings and the Pinoy standings. It's definitely been very interesting. We'll start with the Wooden Spoon tournament tomorrow morning. Then we go into the consolation. Then we've got our third place and theoretically our runners up. And then we've got that much anticipated championship game of the 2025 Filipino World Series. A night game, as always, a storied tradition here for the Filipino World Series and for Philippines baseball as a whole. Gotta be playing under the lights. Again, last year it was so exciting. Again, a lot of controversial plays in that championship game, but still very excited for it. Very much big anticipation towards that game at 7 o'clock tomorrow.
Well, here's some big anticipation. Aristotle Valdelion is going to be in the box with the bases juiced. You have Lorot on first, Tomilden on second. Buenaventura is on third. Lots of pressure here.
Yeah, we've seen the situation a few times in this game so far. You've got the bases loaded, only zero, maybe one out recorded in the inning. And we obviously saw, I believe it was Team Allstates before they were in this position where they had bases loaded with not a high amount of outs and they were able to get out of it without a run scoring. But now this is a completely new situation for them. Hopefully they can get out of it again.
Pick off to third. Where does it go? It goes away in the left field. One run's going to score. Another's being waved in. And all of a sudden it's 7-2, and they're still throwing it away. All the way to third goes Ian Larotte. Tomodin scores. Buenaventura scores. And just like that, All States has squandered their 2-0 lead that they led with in the first 3 innings of this game. It's now 7-2 that they trail.
Yeah, head coach of All States, Chris Murphy, definitely not going to be happy about that one. You can find him on Instagram at iCoachBaseball, and he's definitely one for teaching the fundamentals. And right there in that play, it's one thing to obviously give up a bases loaded scenario, but to give up a bases loaded scenario on a pickoff attempt and a pickoff attempt at third base, he's definitely not going to be too happy with his guys when they get back into the dugout. Man, we might even hear him screaming from the booth here.
Of course, that's being facetious. Coach Murph, one of the most chill guys we've seen.
That is very true. I think I just want to see him get like really riled up one time.
Well, swing you later. Down goes Aristotle Valdeleon. But 2 runs are in from his at bat. Not as a direct result, just happened to be during. Here is Mateo Batacan in the 6th inning with a runner on third and 2 outs. The pitch. Upstairs, 1 ball, no strikes. A tough play for, again, the defense. It's hard to tell what they're trying to do because I think it's just, that's the chemistry point that we were talking about. The pitcher, Aguila and Espejo, they just didn't quite know what was happening. When he picked off to third, Espejo had to counteract the throw. He had to reach behind him. It was almost like with a receiver and a quarterback, where the quarterback threw behind the running receiver, and so a surprise pickoff at third. It's not a bad idea. It's just not the best idea when you got the bases loaded.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like, again, especially when not obviously you have that lack of chemistry, but now in this game in particular, you take into consideration that lack of momentum now, especially when you had it so early on in this game, again, being up 2-0 in the 3rd inning, now losing that. I feel like, the mindset for some of these guys is, well, desperate times call for desperate measures. Yeah, I'm going to, pick off at third base on a bases loaded scenario because maybe they're not expecting it, but obviously the back end of that is, well, if I overthrow this ball or I don't throw it correctly, then a lot of runs could come in to score, and it's exactly what happened. 2 come across home plate, and now Team All States face a 5-run deficit. As the next time that they're up to bat will be their last time hitting as well. This game has gone by pretty quickly in my assumptions, and one of the quicker games that we've had in this tournament, which I'm very thankful for. But for Team All States, I think they wish they had a little bit more time here to try and redeem themselves.
Yeah, that's not something you can come back from too easily. Now there's a timeout called. We'll see what the delay is, but there's what we were talking about in terms of areas of opportunity. There's been 2 walks in the 6th inning alone. Excuse me, 3 walks in the 6th inning alone. And that's gonna be rough. I mean, and you can expect a lot of these guys who are kind of summoned and called upon to pitch in this tournament, they might not pitch in their representing high schools. The runner's gonna go. It's not gonna matter. The ball squirts away from Aragon back in the catcher's position. So uncontested, Batacan is standing on second. But a lot of these guys might not pitch for their high schools. And so when it comes time to pitch in this tournament, they don't quite have that seasoning that's needed.
Yeah, those middle school, kind of high school years for a lot of these student athletes, especially in the sport of baseball, is really kind of hone in what position you want to play. It could be an outfielder, it could be an infielder, you could be a pitcher only or a PO as they call it, maybe a catcher, whatever it may be. You kind of find your rhythm as to where you want to be. So again, it's not shocking that we see so many infielders, so many outfielders who are brought in to pitch because again, the arms are needed. These teams aren't big and bulky. They've only got just the right amount of players in order to make a full team. So trying to make that full team and substitute pitchers, yeah, odds are you're probably going to have to bring in your center fielder, your third baseman sometimes to pitch for you because you just don't have the depth that a lot of these high school teams have, and B, these guys are willing to play any position. They love being out here. They love being on the field. And that's exactly what we like to see here at the Filipino World Series. Number 14 is actually going to be the base runner. He came in for Batacan, and that was that timeout that you saw earlier that you brought up. 14 seems to be a bit of a talk of the town for NorCal Ube. A lot of the guys really pumped up when he moved over from first base to second base on the pass ball. So not sure if he's one of the guys that just hasn't gotten a lot of playing time in this tournament. But again, you love making sure that everyone gets the reps that they deserve in the Filipino World Series.
Well, 3-2 count, second and third. Swung on and missed, strike three. That's going to end the inning, but the score is now 7-2 as we head to the top of the seventh. Welcome back to the 2025 Filipino World Series. We're here in the top of the seventh inning. NorCal Ube is on the defensive side. They're looking to close out a 7-2 win, 3 outs away from sealing this fate of this All States team, who is currently 0-2. They did have the early 2-0 lead in the third, but then the All States quickly lost it in the fourth as they gave up 2. It was tied. And then a couple more insurance runs in the sixth, 3 insurance runs in the fifth. It's 7-2. Swinging, there's a ball in the air, right side of the field. Hoskins is looking like he's got a chance at it, and he does. Excuse me, so Hoskins is out. That is now number 20 for Team Ube.
Yeah, Gino Larot's still on the mound here for Team NorCal Ube, and for head coach Torrente, he's probably thanking his lucky stars that he's only had to use 2 pitchers in today's game. If NorCal Ube can get out of here with a win, it sets them up very nicely for tomorrow's playoff play. Obviously, all states will finish last in the standings. SoCal Heims dropped their second game of the tournament earlier today, which gives NorCal Ube the advantage over them, would go to 2-1. But Canada, that team they faced, their only loss so far in this tournament was against Canada, that opening game for them. That's their only competition, but they will at least get a chance at the championship game. The way it's going to work tomorrow is we're going to take the first seed of one bracket standings as that ball is grounded very shortly to the catcher. He quickly gets the out over at first base. There are now 2 down here. But again, the way it's going to work, you're going to have the first place team in the Pinoy standings take on the second place team in the Laban standings, and then vice versa. First place in Laban, second place in Pinoy. They're going to face off against each other, and the winners of those 2 games is going to go into the championship game and decide who our Filipino World Series champion for the year of 2025 is going to be. Looking forward to it. Should be an exciting day tomorrow.
And now down to the last strike is Team All States. And Ronan Turner showing off a veteran move. He calls timeout. That's what that little high five signal from the home plate umpire is. Here's the 0-2, a quick pitch, and they got him. Swing you later ends the ball game. It's 7-2. NorCal Ube is gonna increase their record to 2 wins and 1 loss. All States is gonna stay winless through 3.
Yeah, you'd like to imagine we're going to see Team All States tomorrow in that wooden spoon competition, i.e. the battle for last place. Don't know who they're going to be going up against yet, but it should still be a pretty exciting matchup. Again, head coach Chris Murphy does bring a lot to the table, but just very unfortunate that they've been drawn the short straw, have to play that early game at 8 a.m. No one wants to be here that early, but that's what's going to happen here in today's game. A great matchup. 7-2 is the final score.
All right, well, again, Will Lewin here in the booth. My name's been Nathaniel Thomas. Maraming salamat sa iyong lahat.